IOM Radio Network, the world's conscious broadcasting network. Live on iTunes and archived on iHeartRadio, the voice of consciousness. And now, join Shay Parker's Best of the Best, offering celebrity guests, lively discussions, hot topics, free psychic readings, and expert guest hosts. Simply the best in spiritual and metaphysical talk radio. Listen live on your phone or device using our universal mobile player. No app needed. Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Find out more at bestamericanpsychics.com.
Hello, everybody. It's the Rock Girl, and welcome to the Rock Girl Unleashed, empowering your wild within. Are you ready, folks? Are you ready to empower your wild within tonight? I am. I really am. Well, thank you for tuning in to the show. And if you are just learning about The Rock Girl, you can check me out at therockgirl.com. You can also check out my school, The Rock Girl Sacred Stone School, at sacredstoneschool.com. And you can find me on Facebook at The Rock Girl Sacred Stone School. That's the fan page, and there's lots of fun posts and lots of groovy people on there talking about stones and positive energy. So those are kind of my calling cards, if you will. And this show is all about empowering your wild within, and in order to do that, you have to unleash your soul first. So I started this show a couple of years ago, and I wanted to do it because I wanted people to feel comfortable in listening to the show and calling into the show and talking about their wildest moments. And wild does not necessarily mean, going skinny dipping in 30-degree water or, jumping off of tall buildings and crazy stuff. I mean, of course, it can encompass that. But empowering your wild within is your true self, your true essence before we were tamed, if you will, by society, by culture, by kind of expectations, great and small, all of that stuff. And, it's really about getting down to your soul. Who are you? What is your soul saying in this lifetime and others? And it's really a forum here on the show to kind of free yourself. And although I am not taking any callers on this show, only because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Sorry, my brain is more of a metaphysical mind rather than a technical mind. But perhaps next show we can have callers because I do love hearing from you. But even if you're just a listener, just kind of unleash all expectations that you have of yourself, imposed by yourself and others, and even the workplace and society, and if you will, and just kind of relax and let your soul kind of come to the forefront and listen to what it has to say. Now, if anybody knows me, I don't think I've ever that's not true. I was going to say I don't think I've ever held my soul prisoner in this lifetime anyway, but that's not true. I was married for 15 years, and of no fault of my ex-husband, I I did imprison my soul, trying to be somebody who I wasn't, because I thought the person that I was trying to be was better than the person that I was. And so that's why I tried to be a better person, and it wasn't aligning with my soul. And by no stretch of the imagination am I a bad person or a bad soul. I'm just different than what I expected of myself. So I think I was my hardest critic, and I imprisoned my soul, and I did have to let it free. And therefore, therockgirl.com was born, Sacred Stone School was born, and this show, Rock Girl Unleashed, is born. And so I invite you to be reborn just for this hour. And we have a very interesting topic tonight. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. It's called Empowering Your Spiritual Warrior Within. And so in just a few minutes, we're going to dive into that and get into, what the intent behind that phrase is, at least coming from me, and then what the intent is behind the phrase coming from you. But first, some latest news. Okay, you can cruise to my website, therockgirl.com or sacredstoneschool.com, and on the front of the page, you will find some advertisements or whatever if they say in the UK, but advertisements for upcoming events. The first upcoming event is in November. It's the Rock Girl Return to Roots Tour, and it's in November in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Now, it's called the Return to Roots Tour because I was born and raised in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, in New Hope, Pennsylvania to be exact, and I go back to Bucks County once a year thanks to the fabulous Susan Duval, SusanDuvalSeminars.com, and she invites me back once a year, and I go. Actually, she invites me back anytime I want to come, but I can only make it up there once a year, and it's been November for the past couple of years. And I like it there. I like it there in November, and I like it there, and I like visiting, and I love the people that come to the classes. And I go there because I like it. And what I do is I return to my roots. Something about the earth there really, really calls to me. And forget I like it. I love it there. And so I spend a whole 11 days there once a year at Susan Duval's. And this year I am teaching Reiki Master. I've been teaching one level of Reiki per year, and now we're up to Master level. So I've been going there for 5 years already. And so I'm teaching Reiki Master up there this year. I'm also teaching Rocks 102 and the Hands-On Healer certification technique, and that's been an ongoing class, and so we're going to wrap that up this year. And then I'm teaching an angel lecture in the evening, and I'm doing an Empowering Your Intuition lecture, and those are both open enrollment to anyone who would like to come. And also I'm doing 3 full days of readings, and I think I'm booked halfway up. So if you want a reading, go to Susan Duval Seminars and scroll to the events page, and you can contact Susan. I'm doing readings Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the second week of November, and they are 45-minute readings in person, and you can actually touch and feel and play with the stones. And I don't do a lot of in-person readings anymore because I'm never around. I do a lot of phone readings, and you can book that at therockgirl.com. But the in-person readings I'm really only doing on tour, and I'm doing them in Japan, and I'm also doing them in Pennsylvania in November. So if you would like to come and visit in person, I would love to see you, and I'd be honored to read for you. So Susan Duval, Duval, 1L, seminars.com. Scroll to the events page, and you'll see all the stuff that we're doing there. That's in November. I'm also going to be selling stones there. I'm driving up, and I'm going to be selling stones at the Angel Lecture and the Intuition Lecture, and also at the Reiki classes and the Hands-On Healer classes. So if you're interested in stones, I will have a whole carload full. So that is the November event. Then the next big event is in April. I'm going to be on an intuition cruise with a lot of other psychics, and it's not November, in April, I believe, April 9th to the 15th. Those may not be exact dates. I'm not on my website right now, but it's an intuition cruise, and I'll be on there. I'll be doing readings, and I'll be teaching a class about how to empower your intuition with stones. And I'm going to go on all of these day trips with, and some of my students are coming with me, and we're going to do lots of channeling, and we're bringing our stones, and so we're going to have fun. I'm actually going on the horseback riding, swim in the ocean excursion, and then I'm going to Goddess Eshel's temple another day, and then I'm going to some 7-colored lagoon or something the next day. So I'm really, really excited about the excursions, and I won't be alone. I will be with some of my students, and I welcome you and invite you to join us. And so that's the cruise, and all the information's on the website. And then, I have my crystal camp on the front of my website, and the Crystal Camp are online classes. I teach a lot of in-person classes and at the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School in Nashville, and also at my location up in New York City, the Rock Room NYC. However, people have been really interested in online classes, and so I have done a series of recordings, 9 90-minute sessions, and I've packaged them up and called them Crystal Camp. And in the first 3 sessions, you learn about rocks. In the second 3 sessions, you learn about rocks as they are connected to the chakras. And in the last 3 sessions, we talk about rocks as they relate to your karma and dharma. And so that's all online, and we send you the MP3s and PowerPoints, and also if you want to purchase stones, you can do that too. So that's the 3 big deal things on the front of my website. Now, I am teaching private classes. I have not updated my website yet with those. I am so sorry. I will do that soon. I've been teaching overseas in Japan, and so I've been traveling a lot. I go to Japan about every other month, and so I'm doing that this year in 2016 and in 2017. And so what I do is I fit in the classes in between my trips, and so those will be posted for 2017 coming in November and December. They'll be up on my website. So I hope that helps, and I hope that answers a lot of everybody's questions. I do apologize for being vague and elusive. I'm new at this whole traveling overseas thing, and it's I don't know whether I'm coming or going, whether the sun is coming up or going down, and I'm trying to get my bearings. So thank you so much for all of your emails and your Facebook questions. I really do appreciate it. So, I also have some exciting news. It's 8:14, and I know that we go to break about 8:15. So let me try and roll this out, and if I get cut off, we'll return with more information after the break. However, I just opened the Rock Girl VIP room down here in Asheville. I have my school, and right next to the school, I have a VIP room where everything in the VIP room is for sale. So in the school, I teach my classes, and I have stones for sale for classes. And I have a lot of my own personal stones, actually thousands, hundreds of thousands to be exact. And people who come to my classes are more than welcome to hang out with them and work with them. But a lot of people want to buy stones and take them home, and so I have stones for classes that I always sell. But now I'm starting to move my own personal collection onto other people because it needs to go out and grow and glow and flow and do all this stuff. So I've opened the VIP room in Asheville, North Carolina. Here comes the music. More about that right after the break.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Have you wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hello! Join us, Lisa Berry and Michelle Carter, every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for the Mindset Makeover, What's Possible. Get ready to become present, clear, and unstuck, and start living fully, led by your heart. While you listen and feel this transformation through vibration of word, sound, and song, you'll open up to what's possible and experience your shift.
Hi, this is Shay Parker, founder of BestAmericanPsychics.com. If you are a professional psychic or medium and are looking for a group of like-minded individuals that are truly supportive of one another, Best American Psychics is the place for you. Or if you're not a psychic but you're in need of guidance regarding love, money, career, and more, please visit our directory. Each psychic is double tested and approved for accuracy, professionalism, ethics, and more. BestAmericanPsychics.com, a new league of professional psychics.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. he's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
I do believe we are back. Okay. So I was telling everyone about the Rock Girl VIP room. So anyway, for people who are just tuning in, thank you so much for joining the show. It's Allison Hayes, Rock Girl here. We're going to talk about how to empower your spiritual warrior within in just a few minutes. However, I always like to start by giving the updated news of the month, because I'm only on once a month, and also answering some people's questions on Facebook. So the Rock Girl VIP room is an annex right off the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School, and every single stone in there is for sale. All of those stones come from my personal collection, and I've had them for many, many years. A lot of them were up in the Rock Room, New York City, and it's time that they move on, and it's time that they do their work out in the world with their new keepers. And as sad as it is for me to release them, it is time for them to grow, to glow, and to flow, and to bring love and light to other places around the world. And so a lot of times students will come to the Rock Girl Sacred Stone School, and they'll take classes, and we just lock ourselves in there for 3 to 4 days, and they'll fall in love with the stones. Then I'll be like, no, that's not for sale. No, that's not for sale. No, that's mine. And so what I've done is I've kept all of my signature stones, the ones that are mine, but then I have other stones just like it that are next door in the VIP room. But they always stay in the Sacred Stone School first, and they charge, and they get all activated and yummy and delicious. And then when they are fully charged and ready to go, I put them next door in the VIP room, and I invite groups to come and find their new stones, or better yet, let the stones find them. Now, in the month of September, just a few weeks ago or a few days ago, I had a group of my Japanese students here. They actually came in from Japan, and they were here for a week. And a lot of these people, mostly women, some of them hadn't ever been out of Japan, and a few of them, I would say a handful of them, I think there was 30-some of them, 30-some students, 30-plus students, and they all stayed in a hotel in Asheville, and we got a big bus and drove them around, and they came to the Sacred Stone School for classes and for shopping, and then we took them to the waterfalls one day, and then they came to the VIP room, the Rock Girl VIP room, and they shopped and found their new stones, and it was just so wonderful to see them connect with the new stones and how the stones connected to them. And so they were here for a week, and they really enjoyed themselves. They enjoyed Asheville. And what they did was they came and they shopped for the stones first, and then we went out into the waterfalls and into the forest, and I taught them how to activate the stones and link to them. And then the last day we had class and learned what to do with their new stones that they were recently linked with, and we had a blast. And so it was really great to see these women come all the way over from Japan. And now that was a 22-hour trip by the time they flew from Japan to Atlanta and Atlanta to Asheville, and they were real troopers. And the reason that I'm telling you about that is because they are a true example of how to empower their spiritual warrior within. And so when we talk about empowering your spiritual warrior within, what we want to take a look at is how can, A, what is a spiritual warrior? We're going to go and define that in just a moment. But B, how can you empower that energy within you? Where does it come from? Hint, hint, your soul, right? And what do you do with it in this lifetime? And so these women, they came in here in September, and I went to Japan in June, and I went on tour, and I went to all different areas of Japan, and I would do a presentation every day and meet and greet people, and some people would sign up for this program, and the program's a year-long program. That's why I keep going back to Japan every other month, is to teach a class. And so I just met these women in June, And a lot of them, when they signed up for the class, weren't sure if they were going to actually take the class or they were going to back out. And I said, take a risk, take a risk. And a lot of these women, when we mentioned coming to Asheville, they're like, oh, my gosh, I can't swing it. I don't want to leave my family for that long. I can't get off of work. And, I think we have like 100 students. And to have 36, I believe we had 36 students come over to Asheville that never thought they'd, A, ever come to Asheville, B, ever leave Japan, and C, get on a plane in general, and period. And so it was really great to have these women here in Asheville. And I said to them, I said, did you ever think that less than 3 months ago that you'd ever be sitting in Asheville? And they all looked at me, and they looked at each other, and they said, never. And then they bought some Power Stones. I'll tell you, they bought some of my most powerful with Power Stones like this. And they said, never. And I said, did you ever think, we hiked up to the waterfalls, and we stood under the waterfalls, and we activated the waterfalls, and it was one of the most amazing days ever as far as weather and just the sheer beauty of North Carolina. And they activated themselves, they activated their stones, and I asked them, did you ever think this would be possible 3 months ago? And they said, never. And then I said, well, now imagine what else you can do. And it was such a powerful moment that it brought, the energy was so fierce, so intense in that room when every woman just asked herself that question, that it literally moved each and every one of us to tears because the energy was that big, that awesome. And the ability to do something in only 3 short months that you had never even dreamt of, thought of, 3 months ago is just amazing. And it was a life-altering experience for everyone. And I've gotten so much great feedback about how these women now have gone back to Japan, and they are accomplishing goals and visions of what they never thought was capable because they simply got on a plane and came over here. And so that is pretty amazing. And I'm going to be getting on a plane on October 22nd and flying back over there for their next class. And so I'm really excited to see them and their stones. And so that is a perfect example of empowering your warrior within. And so let's take a look here, and let's start with this. Okay? Why are we here? Like, why are we here on this planet? Why are we here geographically in that particular location? Why are we with the people that we're with? Why are we doing what we're doing? Is it a random kind of act of just happenstance, or do we have a bigger picture? Now, not everyone, is a spiritual warrior or even wants to become a spiritual warrior. But for those of you who resonate with the term spiritual warrior, more often than not, if you resonate with that phrase, there is a reason why you are here. In fact, there's probably many, many, many reasons why you are here. And so, we need to actualize, we need to acknowledge, to validate the fact that we are here for a purpose. And then after we actualize and validate that, we can ask the next question: what is our purpose? And again, I do psychic readings and I do energy work, and a lot of people come to me, for spiritual coaching and counseling, and they're like, what is my purpose? And I have learned over the years, my answer is, we have many purposes, but let's take a look at the one that is calling you right now. And purposes, you don't have to be the best psychic in the world, and you don't have to be born to be a healer. You can be the best wife in the world. You can be the best wife that you can be in the world, the best husband that you can be in the world, the best manager and the best parent in the world that you can possibly be. You can be the best of yourself. It doesn't mean being the best of something doesn't mean better than something. Okay? Just because I am functioning at my best and achieve my best kind of equilibrium and my purpose, and I'm hoping that you do too. And so why are we all here, and what is the purpose that we are to focus on right now? A lot of times I like to tell people that in doing so, we grow, we transform, we actualize, and we empower ourselves to be the best that we can be. And so, that is where it all begins. So with that said, let's define a couple terms, okay? Let's define spiritual warrior, okay? But let's pull it apart first, okay? A warrior, or in females' cases, warrior-S, being a warrior often involves deep wounding, overcoming obstacles, great leadership ability, handling power responsibly, having a mission, and often great sacrifice. Now, I'm going to repeat that again. It's 8:29. We're going to get a break in just a minute. But being a warrior it often involves deep wounding, overcoming obstacles, great leadership ability, handling power responsibly, having a mission, a purpose, and often great sacrifice. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be a leader over everyone else. I always like to start with myself, and if I can do that, if I can handle power responsibly and offer myself great leadership, overcome obstacles, if I apply that all to myself first, then I think I'm really getting somewhere. So what we're going to do is when we come back, we're going to talk about being a spiritual warrior and defining those terms a little bit more, and then we're going to talk about how you can empower your spiritual warrior within as well. And remember also that great warriors also must have the courage to walk alone, to move forward on their mission, even if no one else goes with them. We're going to commercial now, folks, and we'll be right back.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Spiritual, metaphysical, green living, psychic, alternative healing, life coaching. Do any of these or similar terms apply to your business or cause? If so, you are in a niche market with a very specific audience. Conscious Gate PR is the world's leading conscious public relations agency. With a global reach of over 4 million and growing, we offer comprehensive media campaigns to our targeted market. Learn more at ConsciousGatePR.com. Conscious marketing for conscious minds.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Hi, this is Vicki Snyder, the Everyday Mystic Angel. What's that, you ask? Well, it's an angel with a down-to-earth edge. And you can catch me live every fourth Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on The Best of the Best. Learn more about me and my services at www.vickysnyder.com. That's VICKISNYDER.
Every 2 minutes, an American is sexually assaulted. The majority of victims know their attacker. It could be your friend, your neighbor, or someone you met at a party. If you said no, it's rape, and it's a crime. This is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Call the National Sexual Assault Hotline today at 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAIN.org. That's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Rock Girl Unleashed, empowering your wife. Or sacredstoneschool.com. And let's see. Oh, yes, Facebook. The Rock Girl Sacred Stone School on Facebook. And so now we are getting back to our topic of today, which is empowering your spiritual warrior within. And so when we're talking about spiritual warriors, we are talking about people who work with spirit or in the spiritual realm and also have that warrior energy within. And so right before the break, we were just defining what a warrior is what a warrior is. And I looked it up in the dictionary, okay, and this is what it says. Being a warrior often involves deep wounding, overcoming obstacles, great leadership ability, handling power responsibly, having a mission and or a purpose, and often involves great sacrifice. And so all of the wounding, the nicks, the dents, the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual obstacles that we have overcome, it contributes to that warrior spirit, that warrior energy where you keep going. You just keep going. But it does not mean that you keep going blindly and kind of stupidly, just plowing through. It means that you develop skills and agility. I like to call it energetic agility in the spiritual realm. And what you come out with are great leadership ability. You learn how to handle power responsibly. And those two things I'm going to talk about more in a minute. But it's connecting, warriors have a purpose. They are skilled swordsmen and marksmen. These warriors, any kind of warrior, can take your head off in one spell, take your life in one fell swoop. But they don't do it for random play. They don't do it because they're bored. They do it because they have a mission, a cause. They're fighting for something. And a lot of times I would like to think that it's a cause that will create more positive energy and create a better outcome, not for only themselves, but for everyone. And often being a warrior involves great sacrifice. A lot of times warriors sacrifice their freedom, their free time, sometimes even their physical body, like arms and legs, but they keep into creating a better world, into healing of ourselves and others. I know personally I have experienced great sacrifice in my quest for this direction, and I don't ask for any violins, please, but my family, my DNA family anyway, my biological family doesn't believe in what I do. They were not supportive, and a lot of, ever since I was a young child, they called me crazy. And so that I had to kind of step away from in order to pursue this. My marriage crumbled. As I went one way, he went another way, and it just didn't work out. And so, you sacrifice on an emotional level, mental level, financially. It was a tremendous sacrifice. And so, a lot. I left. I lived in New York and New Jersey, and because of my divorce was because of my work, because it didn't align, and at the end of the day, it's the best thing. But I left an area that I grew up in and went into the unknown. And believe me, I'm thrilled that I've done this now. But it was scary, and it didn't involve sacrifice. But what I can tell you, folks, what I can promise you is that, a lot of this great sacrifice is often rewarded with wonderful, wonderful new horizons, opportunities, and possibilities. And I certainly am so glad that I took the risk. And here I am today helping other people do the same. But you have to do it, with grounded energy, with focus, and with foresight. A lot of times going to spiritual counselors can help. Connecting directly, learning to speak to your own inner guides, that helped me a lot as well. And so there's a lot of tools that you need to sharpen in order to do this in the most productive way. But they are out there for you. And, doing all of this stuff for yourself, like becoming a great leader and handling power responsibly, will also have great benefits. Number one, you have more control over your life and you have more trust in the universe. And then, who knows, you may go on to help other people by setting great examples or even becoming a teacher and a mentor. So all of this are the benefits of becoming a spiritual warrior. Now, let's talk about leadership ability and handling power responsibly. I'll tell you what, I have seen many students, I've seen many audiences, I've seen many colleagues, and, some the handling of power was not handled responsibly. It's handling your own power and having power from within and being connected to above and below in the universe, okay, and Mother Earth and your spirit guides. It's not having power over. Learning to become empowered is not your free ticket to boss people around. It's not your free ticket to control people's lives. And so what I like to say is I like to help people who want to help themselves. I want to teach them the tools so they can use the tools to, and stones are included in that, to have a more fulfilling, focused, and wonderful life. And so there is, and as a spiritual warrior, you have to first find yourself, and then you can find other people. People come to me all the time, and they're like, I want to find my soulmate. I want to find my soulmate. I want to find my twin flame. When am I going to get a husband? When am I going to get a wife? When am I going to start a family? And my answer to them is first you have to find yourself. You have to find yourself first. And when you do, you can empower yourself so your energy glows, the light within glows, and you won't even have to be looking for someone because they will find you because of your light. And so if you feel yourself looking for someone else, if you hear yourself saying, I want to find my soulmate, well, be the lighthouse, be the beacon that you emulate light, and people will find you. And so before you find anybody else, you need to find yourself. And so, again, that is another really great kind of brick, if you will, in the foundation of becoming a great spiritual warrior. Now, how many of you out there in pursuing the spiritual realm, and even if you're just contemplating the spiritual realm, how many of you experiencing relationship problems? A lot of your foundational beliefs might be crumbling. A lot of the traditional opportunities slip through your fingers. These are all signs that it's time for you to move on. They're not failures. They're not failures. So many of us think if our marriage crumbles, it's a failure. It's interesting because I was watching this YouTube video on Facebook about Gwyneth Paltrow, and she was talking about her life, and that was a failure of her marriage, and she came from a family who's always stayed married, and the fact that she didn't, that was a failure. And I thought, oh, if it's not going to work out, it's not going to work out. And it's you don't have to look at it as a failure. You could look at it as an experience. And my marriage technically failed, but it was an experience, and boy, did it teach me a lot. And so I found out what doesn't work so I can figure out what does work. But I don't want you to feel that because things are not working, that you're failing. Because if you really plug into yourself and your soul, you are going to be pulled, energetically drawn to what will help bring you into an alignment where you are at your best. Now, I'm not saying you're going to just sit there and push the remote. It doesn't happen that way. You actually have to get up and do the work, which is taking classes and then practicing, putting into practical application what you learned in the classes. You got to practice every day. And this stuff really does work. And so you can't expect to just sign up for a class and have the teacher do it for you. You have to apply what you're learning, applied practice. And it does work. And usually, you know, if you have a failure, you want to take a look at it, or what you perceive as a failure. Why didn't it work? Maybe I should be doing something else. Maybe I should be doing this but doing it differently. Do I need a change of energy? Do I need a change of perspective? You know, really take a look at it and learn from it. Don't be afraid of it. Don't try to hide it. Don't be ashamed of it, because really failure is an experience that did not work, that does not work for you anymore, and you need to try something differently. So I hope that does help you. And how many of you, when you have encountered a situation like that, kept going? How many knew in your core, in your soul, that you just had to keep going? Okay? Now, a lot of us, you know, have that little kind of twinkle in your eye, and you want to keep going. A lot of you have that fire in your belly, and you want to keep going, and I commend you for that. And even if it's just a little ember, that fire in your belly, the fact that you are connected to that means that you are in alignment with your soul, and that you know that you need to keep going, and that is awesome. And for those of you who don't feel that, there's nothing wrong with you at all. What you want to do is you just need to learn how to become more sensitive to the energy. And again, when I say that, there's probably people out there who are becoming very frustrated, saying, oh my, you know, that sounds easier said than done. And so my suggestion is to really start taking energy classes and becoming more sensitive to your energies, and you'll learn to sense the cues that will tell you that there's a change coming, and that will cue you in on the best way to handle it. Now, speaking of cues, it's 8:44, and we'll probably get the cue, the prompt, the music that will take us off to commercial break, so that's going to be coming up soon. But when we come back, we're going to continue. Sorry, sometimes I think faster than I speak, and then I stumble. So anyway, we are going to continue this conversation after the break. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
everybody. That was a short break. It's the Rock Girl here, and welcome back to the Rock Girl Unleashed, empowering your wild within. So we're talking about empowering your spiritual warrior within. And so we are going to pick up where we left off because we only have about 10 or 15 minutes left of the show. So we were talking about failures not really being failures. They're learning experiences. That's very cliche. Okay, yes. But I'll tell you, don't look at them as failures. Look at them as lessons. And if you can take a look at what didn't work and not do that again, and then try and take a look at what did work and take that with you, that's really a really great leg to stand on. And when you do encounter obstacles, when you are wounded, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, is there that little voice in your head that says just keep going? Is there that fire in your belly that keeps that light in your eye? There's something for all of you spiritual warriors out there that says just keep going. And I commend you all for listening to that. And so when we overcome obstacles and when we do incur wounding and we do keep going, then what are we looking for? What is it that we're looking for? And it's, oftentimes, especially for myself, it is my mission, is my purpose. What is my purpose? What is my mission? Let me stay focused on the end game here. And so for me, when I was going through my divorce and I wasn't working out in New Jersey and I couldn't afford it anymore and I needed to come down to Asheville, I needed to go somewhere that was a heck of a lot more affordable. And so I knew I had to go south, and I ended up going to Asheville. And so, I knew I was going to Asheville, and I knew that I had a bigger mission here, a bigger purpose, and I had no idea what it was. Now, yes, I wanted to start my school down here and all of this other stuff, and was leaving New York and all my clients, and I was starting the school down here. But what I didn't realize was, what was the mission within the mission. And so I stayed focused on starting the school, but then I started to ask myself some questions. And so what I wanted to do is share with you a list of the questions that as soon as you make it through the darkness, or as you're going through the darkness, and you know there's more, or you feel there's more, or your guides are saying just keep going, then the next thing to do is ask them a question. Ask the questions. And as you ask the questions, the universe and your guides will answer, and your purpose, your mission will start to become more apparent, more visual, more solid, if you will. And so here are a list of questions that may help you, okay? A lot of times when you are actually being wounded or recovering from being wounded, a relationship breaks up, you lose a job, you lose a loved one, you're forced from one location to another. Ask yourself, what are your wounds, and how do you use them in this lifetime to help others overcome theirs? Friends, family, spouses, clients. And so, it was interesting because when I was married, I understood what people were saying about being divorced and the fear and of being single after all those years and the wounding and the betrayal and the hurt. Or if you're the person leaving your spouse, the guilt. As you're going through that, ask yourself, how do I use these wounds in this lifetime? How can I use them to help other people overcome theirs? That is a really great way to kind of get a handle on what is your mission. Another one is, what is the message? What is the message here? Like I said, when I was going through my divorce, the message was, Allison, you need independence. Allison, you have to stop being fearful of the unknown. It's funny because I was living in New York when 9/11 happened, and I swore I would never get on another plane again. I would never drive 2 hours more than 2 hours by myself. I would never move, and I would never get divorced. And I don't use the N word, the never word anymore. I don't use that. Okay, notice I'm not saying I never use never anymore. I'm saying I do not use that word anymore because I got divorced, I had to move, I fly on planes all the time, and I drive 18, 20 hours straight sometimes. And so, the message there started with my divorce, but it just keeps going. And it's about being independent, teaching people how to be independent. And I'm not just talking financially and physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. All right? And so what is your message? You could have several messages. Mine was, I need to be independent physically, mentally, and emotionally, but also financially. I needed to know that I could earn money on my own and manage money on my own and not be so dependent on a husband or a family member in order to be financially secure. Another part of my message was that I needed to believe in what the universe was calling me for, what the universe was saying. And my God, when I was getting divorced and my husband had a very nice job, and he still does up in New York, working for a finance company, how are you going to support yourself doing rock readings? That's what I got. How are you going to support yourself? And I was joking, but I was also serious. My plan B was to get a job at Starbucks because they give benefits. And so really, that was a huge obstacle that I had to overcome, not only from internally, but externally as well. And so there were many messages there. And the next question is, what is your mission? What is my mission? My God, I'm like, okay, I'm going down there to start a school, and here I am. My life is falling apart. How on earth can I help other people? And then as I started, oh my God, I drove back and forth, bringing my stuff down to New York, from New York to Asheville, 11, 12 hours, and I had lots of time to think. And do you know I never listened to the radio? I just basically thought. That's what I did. I thought a lot. And my mission was not about me. And my mission was about helping other people as well. But it was also about the stones. My mission was to make sure that the stones that I had in the back of the truck and the car and in the warehouse and all over the place got to the right people in the right timing. Now, I was getting divorced in 2010 and 2011, and I knew that 2012 was coming up, and I knew that these certain stones had to get out to the certain people. That really had me on a mission. It was like, Allison, forget about feeling sad today. You can you can process that later, but focus on the mission of making sure that these stones get to the right people in the right time. And that was really, my mission became very clear. And no matter how I was feeling that day, I made sure I got up, completed my mission. And then at the end of the day, honestly, I was so tired that my wounds didn't hurt very much. And I was able to continue to teach Reiki and psychic development, be out in nature, and the wounds healed slowly and solidly. And I can honestly say I'm such a better person for it. And for that, I'm very grateful, and I hope that this message and to see what the lessons are. And everyone out there, if you feel the fire in your belly and if you hear the voice in your head that says just keep going, these are all signs to empower your spiritual warrior within. And remember, it's about overcoming obstacles. It's about leadership. Okay? It's about finding your own power within and actualizing all of your potential that your soul has in this lifetime. And you could even be drawing from the knowledge and the experience that your soul has from other lifetimes. And again, a lot of the information that I have within me, I have remembered from my other lifetimes thanks to the stones. And finally, as we bring this show to a close, ask yourself, ask your soul, okay? Ask your soul, what legend will you leave behind? What legend? What legend? And your legend is really what your mission was in this lifetime. I mean, I teach traditional Reiki, I teach rocks and Reiki, and I teach sacred energy. And in all of the master classes, we channel back to the other lifetimes. And one of the most exciting parts when we get to master level class and all of these modalities is what was the legend of your soul in that lifetime? And it is said a lot of times, when people are studying past lives that we can have anywhere from 14 lifetimes to 4,800 lifetimes. And I get such a thrill when my students are able to connect to the message, to the mission, and to the legend of their soul of other lifetimes and learn to bring those skills and then really is what is so exciting for me. So with that said, we're going to bring this show to a close very soon. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and I want to encourage you to unleash your soul and also to empower your spiritual warrior within, to find your mission and to go forth and to actualize it. If you're looking for me, you can find me at therockgirl.com, sacredstoneschool.com, and of course, The Rock Girl Sacred Stone School on Facebook. So, folks, there you have it. It is with great passion and pleasure that I bid you well on your journey. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and be good to your stones, and your stones will be good to you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us for Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Be sure to tune in next week for more lively discussion topics. Have a great week, and don't forget to check out bestamericanpsychics.com in case you need some professional, ethical, and accurate psychic advice from the nation's best psychics. Until next week, take care of yourselves and one another.